I'm Colin Singer, immigration lawyer and managing partner of Immigration.ca. Canada Immigration News Articles, October 2014. Caregivers backlog rising as families wait for residency. There are now more than 60,000 people waiting for permanent residency under a program that employs foreign caregivers and nannies in Canada, according to reports. About half of these people waiting for permanent residence are the children and spouses of the foreign caregivers already living in Canada. The federal government is currently processing 17,500 of these applications for permanent residence, according to Immigration Minister Chris Alexander. Foreign caregivers can apply for permanent residence in Canada after 2 years of working, although the processing of the applications can take more than 3 years. Once they acquire permanent residence, they are eligible to apply for residency for their spouses and children. The bloated inventory with prolonged processing times is causing harm to children who are being separated from their parents working in Canada as live-in caregivers, says a noted immigration analyst. The analyst believes that there is another reason a reform is urgently needed. An overwhelming majority of these cases are family members who are giving live-in caregiver jobs to other family members. Several reports from immigration officials have demonstrated that family members already in Canada are in turn hiring their relatives abroad as caregivers to bring them to Canada. The majority of these applications are for caregivers from the Philippines. These reports suggest that the program is not serving Canadians who need live-in caregivers in the same way as it was planned, although it is beneficial for the Filipino families in Canada. According to Employment Minister Jason Kenney, the caregiver program has turned into a family reunification program. However, Kenney's claim is disputed by Teresa Agustin, the chair of Migrant Canada, a national organization which represents Filipino immigrants. Augustine mentions that a national study published earlier this year showed that out of the 631 former and current live-in caregivers studied in a research project, the vast majority were recruited to Canada through employment agencies. In addition, only 1 in 10 caregivers in Canada have been hired by relatives, according to the Gates survey, supported by the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council. In countries like Holland and the United States, there are agencies who are responsible for matching caregivers with families. One stakeholder believes that Canada should follow a similar system. There are no private matches allowed, and all placements go through regulated agencies who become semi-responsible for each match, including educating families and ensuring that caregivers are safe and treated fairly. A number of internal government emails have shown that back in 2006 and 2007, the government had to hire temporary staff to clear a growing backlog at that time, reaching 9,000 applications or more in an initiative termed the Clearing House Project. Critics believe that the government could have avoided another backlog by placing caps and quotas on the number of work permits issued annually to live-in caregivers. Immigration Minister Chris Alexander is considering moving the caregiver program to Express Entry, a new program that is scheduled to take effect in January 2015 and is aimed at skilled immigrants who are looking to work in Canada on a permanent basis. The new Express Entry program will make available a limited number of positions under any given occupation, and permanent residence will be offered only to the highest-ranking applicants. Critics also suggest that the Express Entry program will not be transparent, will not contain sufficient monitoring or oversight mechanisms. There are also reports that Minister Alexander is considering the idea of making it optional for caregivers to live with their employers. In April 2013, when Kenny was the immigration minister, the backlog of foreign caregivers stood at 45,000 with a 5-year wait time. This did not include those caregivers who are in Canada but have not yet completed their compulsory 2 years pre-qualifying for permanent residency requirement. Their numbers stood at 35,000. The current backlog of 60,000 applications does not include those foreign caregivers in Canada who have not yet qualified to apply for permanent residency. Source: CBC.ca.